Now, yesterday, WikiLeaks released a trove of documents, reportedly from the CIA, that details some of the tools that they use to hack into certain devices and applications. Now, they hack into these, of course, to be able to use to basically spy on people. Okay, so these are spy programs that are going on. Now, some of the devices they can hack into that are detailed in the WikiLeaks documents include things like phones, tablets, smart TVs, and communications apps. So there's several different things that they can get into, and I'm going to break it down. One of the programs that's actually detailed in this document dump is actually called Weeping Angel. Oh boy, that's not scary sounding at all. WikiLeaks writes basically they break down how this works. After infestation, Weeping Angel essentially places the target TV in a fake off mode. So basically, you think you turn it off, it's not actually off. The owner believes that it's off, and it looks like it's off. However, while it's in this fake off mode, the TV actually operates as a bug, recording your conversations and then sending them over the internet to a covert CIA server. You know, this whole thing, this is like the old Soviet jokes, right? In America, TV watches you. Or at least in this case, it literally listens to you and sends it to the CIA. So you can't even have a conversation in front of your smart TV. You can have a conversation in front of any sort of recording device, whether it be a microphone or a camera, unless you want the CIA to be able to see it. Scary stuff, right? Now there's more, and this actually comes from the Washington Post. By targeting devices, the CIA reportedly gains access to even well-encrypted communications, such as popular apps as Signal and WhatsApp, without actually have to crack the encryption itself. So that's an important point to note. They can get access to these accounts, but it's not by breaking the encryption codes. So if you use things like WhatsApp and Signal, those are actually still very secure unless you're being targeted by the CIA. Now they look at this and they're like, well, we can't get through the encryption. Why don't we just hack the device itself and then use your credentials to log in and see all your data? That's exactly what this whole thing is. So they found different ways, according to the Post, to bypass these, according to WikiLeaks, to bypass these encryptions. As WikiLeaks notes, the government hackers can penetrate both Android phones and Apple phones, Apple technology, and collect audio and message traffic before this encryption is even applied. So basically, they take control of these devices, they access those apps as if it's their own phone to get your texts and your recordings. They don't need to break that encryption, they can just log in. Now, since they can, of course, hack your phone, they can also send users geolocation, audio, and text, and covertly activate the camera and microphone inside of the phone device itself. So now they do this, of course, by sending in malware to infect those phones and devices. Now they also use malware to infect operating systems like Windows, Mac, OS X, Solaris, Linux, and others. So look, it doesn't matter what you use, the CIA is coming for you either way. If you're on their shit list, here they come. They're coming for your device, and they're going to take it over, and they're going to listen to you. Now, also, there are different programs that are put in here that can just generally wreak havoc. For example, one of them is called Wrecking Crew. And basically, it's a way to crash people's computers. Another one tells you how to steal passwords using the autocomplete function on Internet Explorer. This is all within the WikiLeaks document dump. There are also router exploits in these. And the CIA, of course, collected attack techniques from malware produced in other states. Now, this is very important, including Russia via a project called Umbrage. So, okay, so they can look at the different types of attacks different countries use, right? They can essentially lift the fingerprint off these attacks. Well, that's interesting. Why would that be? Why would they want to know that? Why would they want to see that? Well, of course, there's identification purposes, right? So you can see who attacked. Also, theoretically, it could also be used to leave behind the same fingerprints to misdirect attribution for cyber attacks, basically making it look like somebody else did it, even though the CIA were the ones that hacked this device. Fascinating. I wonder where that could be useful. Now, probably the most frightening piece of information within this document dump so far is that the CIA had reportedly studied whether or not it could infect vehicle control systems for cars and trucks. Very, very scary stuff. Now, imagine if they could take control of your car. They could obviously track where you're going through the online, through the GPS and some of the new stuff. They can obviously record your conversations through speakerphones and other things like that, Bluetooth. And the worst case scenario is they could literally take control, physical control over your car through the internet and possibly stage accidents. Basically, Wikileaks alleges that this technology could be used to conduct what they call nearly undetectable assassinations. Now look, who would they use this against? Well, as an average American, not you. Not the regular person. You're not going to have to worry about this. It ain't going to be you. Likely, it could be used, in theory, against political opponents, journalists, activists, or basically anybody who causes trouble for the powerful. That's scary stuff. Very scary stuff. And besides, look, it's not like a terrorist. It's not like Jihadi John is going to buy a smart TV, okay, or a smartphone or a smart anything. Okay, so why would they need to have this technology if it's not going after the terrorists? That's scary stuff, man. It is. And I know it sounds a little conspiratorial, but again, we're dealing with things that have very little oversight. So again, it's very scary to consider that there are people that have the power to be able to do this. And as we continue to get more and more technologically advanced, everything gets more interconnected. There are certain safety precautions and certain things that could happen with this technology. So again, it's very concerning. Now, look, you might be wondering if you're watching this about WikiLeaks and their credibility. Oh, they're working with Russia, blah blah blah, hacking the DNC. Well, again, there's no proof of any of that, right? But nonetheless, a lot of people are questioning the authenticity of these documents. The CIA, of course, is not going to say anything, whether or not it's their documents. However, you do have at least Edward Snowden out there saying that these documents looked authentic. And look, I look at this and I think there's no reason to believe that they're not authentic, especially since WikiLeaks has had a pretty damn good track record in releasing stuff that, hey, look, turned out to be true. I mean, do you see the DNC at all denying that any of the things hacked or released by WikiLeaks was untrue? Any of the stuff that Edward Snowden had released earlier? Do we have any evidence that that was untrue? The record speaks for itself. Seems pretty obvious, to me at least, in my opinion, that the CIA has tried to create a little mini NSA so they can collect data and information on people and just to be able to target and attack certain devices like your iPhone or your Android phone or your TV. And of course, again, that should concern a lot of people because there is little oversight. WikiLeaks is right. Their reason for releasing this data, and why I say they're correct, is because they say that we need to start having robust policy discussions on the implications of this new technology and how spy agencies are able to utilize this technology and use it against people. And plus, it's not fair to people in Silicon Valley, of all places. Because you remember, these exploits, well, the government finds these exploits and then doesn't tell them about it. These exploits are existing, and it's not only the government that could get into them. it's also other individual hackers that could probably get into them as well. So you're also that's why Silicon Valley, a lot of these companies, Google, Facebook, etc., are like, holy shit, this is unfair. This is not cool. We have all these vulnerabilities that have been opened up on our devices and our platforms, and then you're not telling us about this? That's some shit. But basically, the other, of course, very important thing that I like to focus on is privacy rights. And right now, this is a clear, seems to be a clear violation, the fact that they can do this stuff into people's privacy rights. There has to be a discussion, and this has to come to light so that we can have a good policy discussion on privacy rights to make sure that they are respected by the very government that is supposed to protect these privacy rights. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.